Well guys, it's been a mental few days and I wasn't going to make this video because I was supposed to be going off-roading, but currently the Land Rover is out there on axle stands. Long story short, or as short as I can possibly do this, the last video we went to Tick Hill Quarry and we went off-roading. Now, you'll know at the end of that video we had a bit of a knock on the vehicle and also the EPB was playing up. So I got it looked at. It was one of the rear bushes on the front lower control arms that was knocking, and the EPB was basically something to do with the module or the shoes inside the brakes. So took it to a garage. Garage decided they didn't want to do it. I had to become a mechanic overnight. Ta-da! So I got on with it. Now when I took off the near side wheel on the rear, I realised that one of the upper control arms had a really big crack in it and it was basically really corroded underneath, so that needed replacing. So it opened up a can of worms essentially. So what we did was order some new control arms for the lower on the front. We got some upper control arms for the rear. Because we're doing the EPB, we're taking the brakes off, so I put new discs and pads on. I've sorted the EPB out, so now the handbrake is working, it's not sticking. We got the control arms on the front, we've got the control arms on the rear, and may I add, the ones on the rear, oh, I had to go through 10 discs grinding off. They were the hardest thing I've ever done on a vehicle. It took me a full day to get 2 control arms off and replaced. Absolute nightmare. So anyway, the final thing that today was going to be, this morning, that I had to just get done quickly before I go off-roading, was change the oil in the diffs, transfer box and gearbox, which I've done. That was fine, didn't take too long. And then put the protection plates on from Terrafirma that I'd bought. Simple job, right? Bolts off, bolts on. They've only gone and given me the wrong size bolts, so I've had to go out and I've had to get some bolts. These bolts weren't long enough. There's 4 bolts, I think, maybe 2 bolts where I've had to get some longer ones. And the M10, let me quickly show you. These are M10 bolts, and of course when you go to B&Q they stop selling single bolts at M8. When you get the M10 bolts, you have to get a pack, so it costs more. Now I've got 70mm and 60mm because I think the current ones are about maybe 40mm, and they're just not long enough, especially if you've got the transmission plate and the sump plate, because they overlap, so you need to get through them both. And mine are 8mm. Now I wonder where wifey is. I think she's getting rid of all my boxes. She won't be happy. There's been so many deliveries. If you've seen on the Instagram, there was 5 deliveries on one day. How are we getting on, wifey? Lots of boxes. Well, I've got the nuts anyway.
You're looking at your nuts.
Look at my nuts. Yeah, she's not happy. But anyway, so let's crack on with this. It is going to be a bit of a pain. We're going to get it done. I do apologise. We was going to do a video, or was thinking of doing a video on all the other bits on how to do it and da-da-da-da-da-da. But to be fair, viewings weren't that great on how to do other things, and I had so much to do that I just needed to get it done. I wanted to get it done. It was going to get done, and I was going to go off-road, and that was going to be today's video I was going to make. But clearly we're not making it now, so well, you can have this one instead. Let's go and put some plates on. So now I've got my scuffs back on. Look at the state of me out. You can tell I've been at it. I've been under this car all weekend. Oily trousers, everything. You can see it looks like a tip down here. This is all my junk. Old discs. Obviously, they're the front control arms, which weren't too bad. The rear are in the back. I'll show you the rear later if I get around to it, but look at this. So here's the plates. Now this point here overlaps the transmission, and the transmission plate, even the nuts with them, are not long enough to reach. Let me show you this section here, because this section here, it's almost like it needs spacers, but you get 2 bolts through there. You put this one on first, and then I believe you put the sump guard, which overlaps it, because obviously you travel in that direction. So you need bolts not only to just fit through there into there, which the ones given don't fit. You need bolts long enough to fit through 2 8mm plates and up into that. So it's been a bit of a pain. Make sure you're wearing gloves when using these metal plates, because they're pretty goddamn sharp on the edge. I'm going to try and use the 70mm ones, which are the longer ones first, and hopefully they're not too long. And what I'm going to do is get the jack underneath the plate and try and hold it up. But it's quite difficult doing it by yourself. For some reason, I've got one nut in and the other one doesn't line up down here. So I'm going to try and put these ones in and see what the crack is there, but I don't know what's going on. I thought this would be a simple job. It really isn't. I might even have to re-drill some holes. Well, this is mental because I'll show you around the front in a minute. What I'm going to do is try and get these two back ones in and you'll see the difference in where it just doesn't seem to fit. I'm trying to get this in. It's super fiddly, if you can see from here. It's super fiddly. If I can get this one in and then I can get the next one in, we can have a look at the front. So I think that the back two bolts will line up. I've just got to get a spanner to keep on the top of that nut while I tighten that one up. But of course, my axle stands in the way. So I'll tighten this back one up, we'll drop the car down, we'll drop the axle, move the axle out of the way, and we'll have a look at the front. But I don't think I'm going to get both them in. It might end up that I'm just going to have one nut in the centre because it just doesn't line up. Leave it a little bit loose so I can still manoeuvre that side, but I'm going to have to drop this down now. I'll probably tighten the front up a bit more, drop it down, take the axle stand out because it's in a bloody way, and then maybe I'll chuck the jack over that side. Probably don't even need it, to be honest, but it's just in case the suspension drops down. Sometimes it goes tss, I shit myself. Alright, let's see what we're saying around this side. If you've got bigger cojones than me, then you might not feel the need to do this. Oh, look at that. I've got the bloody jack stuck under here. Ugh. We'll move that axle stand out of the way. I'll jack that up a bit more. Get that out of the way. We'll leave this jack there just so it's going to keep it up. And I'll try and fix this one in and then we'll move to the front. I'll show you what I mean about that area. That just doesn't line up. It's not even close. No, that one doesn't line up. What on earth is going on here? Something not quite right here with these. They're just not lining up. I don't know what's going on. I'll loosen that one off. That's as far as it can be. What is crack here, man?
So, he's been under that car since 7 o'clock. It's 12. And it's still under the car.
So that's both the rear nuts in. The front wasn't lining up, so let's see what it looks like now, because I put one of the front in and then I put one in the rear in, but then neither of the front lined up and I couldn't get the other side one in, so I've gone with both the back ones. Let's have a look what the front says, but I'm pretty sure they don't line up. It's not very good design really, is it, Terrafirma?
For the money that you paid.
Oh, and I've had to use different nuts, you buggers. Different nuts. Yeah, none of them line up. And the problem I've got here is now is that the other tray is going to come and overlap this, but they don't line up. They're too far forward and they're not even in the right place. Come around here, let me show you this. Let me show you this, look. So that hole, as far back, goes there, and that hole goes there. They don't even line up. I need it about there and there, but I've also got the other plate to put on. this is going to be problematic. So I do have a plan. Obviously the other plate's going on and it's going over, it's overlapping that one. So if I can get enough bolts down the side, I'm not too worried about them back ones because it's going to be bolted down the side multiple times and it'll hold that front in. Let's see what happens, eh? But first I've got to take this little bit of trim off. Because with this, currently, if I was to get stuck, you wouldn't be able to get to the pull arm anyway, the little pulley. And obviously the metal bit comes up and over here. So let's see what it looks like. Gotcha! With that, when I get stuck is when I'm going to get pulled. But on the, when I get stuck, I'm not going to get stuck. I will get stuck. On the metal one, Terrafirma has a gap here, so that obviously is accessible for some hardcore off-roading. It's going to go on there somewhere. And then that's going to go there. That's going to go there. This is not easy. Right, so that. Right, well, Terrafirma don't give any instructions as to what to do or where to put them, but it is simply only bolts. So what my plan is now is to try and put the two front ones in. Hopefully they keep it all square, and then I can run down the sides and just bang them in. So we'll try and put these ones in. There's loads of different, there's a couple of spacers and there's other little bits and bobs in here, but I mean, to be honest, if it's bolted up and it's bolted tight, for me that's good enough. It ain't going nowhere. It's just about trying to get them in the right order, if you like. So we'll try and get this one done first, which will help me hold it. I'm going to pop that through there. Hopefully that will hold that. That needs to come this way, slightly.
That's not square.
What?
It needs to go that way. That's it.
Yeah, so that must go there, which that must mean that that is, I think, oh my goodness, I'm getting dripped on. Where's me nut? Right, so that must mean that that one is this one, because you've got a lengthy one. Got a lengthy one, young man. So that, yeah, that's definitely that one. So I was sort of right the first time when I said that, but anyway. So if we get that up there, we can get this one in. Now, let's see if we can use their nuts as normal. Look at that, it's not long enough. So, where's the pack of nuts? I think there is longer ones in this pack, so maybe. No, they're all the same size. I need a longer nut. Surprised what an extra inch you can do, isn't it? Do you reckon that's where the spacer goes? Because that's, yeah, that's where that spacer must go, eh? Because it's like the, do you reckon? Do you reckon that goes there?
You can try.
I reckon it does. Oh, hello. I think the spacer goes here. This is not easy. Judging by your belly, I don't normally struggle finding the hole, but you know what I mean? I can't quite get this one. That's it. I think, guys, it's all lining up. So the trick to this one seems to be get the front two ones in first. Don't worry about the back ones because they don't even work anyway. You can't find them. They don't line up. Get the front ones in. So like I say, my plan will be, as long as I can get as many down the side as I can, those back ones, doesn't matter because the back ones on those are done up. The front ones of these done up, it's going to hold it all together and it will be solid. So what I'm going to do now is just quickly finish banging these in, and if I have any difficulties I'll let you know, but otherwise I'm going to show you afterwards what it looks like. Got my nuts and bolts all over the place. Hello, little guy. We're nearly there, we're nearly there. That's tight, man. Tight as a duck's backside. We have success. Oh, I'm gonna have old man aches from climbing under this all the time. Right, let me show you what's been going on underneath here. So obviously this is just the sump guard and the transmission. I've got the air compressor to do next, but so I've put in the front ones first, which then aligns these here. This one here is rounded off, so I've got to grind that off. Can you see that? This one here is rounded off, so I've got to grind that off and I'll put a new one in. But so we've got all of them in. Now I'm not sure if there's supposed to be one through here and here into the centre of this like bar cross member going across, but for whatever reason it doesn't line up. But what I have got is obviously these into the chassis, or a bar going across. Now they go straight into the body of the vehicle, so that's solid. These ones here are all on nuts on the inside, so they're all solid, but this here is solid now. No rattle, no nothing. It's all pressed up, it's all tight. Because it's alley, obviously when you tighten it up, it sort of bends with the shape anyway. Those two rear ones are in tight. That's it, we're rocking and rolling. Now all I've got to do is down at the bottom, put the compressor on, and we're rock and rolling. Before I grind it off, I'm just going to try one more time. I'm going to hammer this into the head. Hopefully it might grip and I can get that bolt out. Otherwise it's going to be grinded off and that's just going to be left, because all the other bolts are in. I'm happy with that, it's solid. Let's just try this first. Hopefully if that goes in, because they're quite weak, these bolts are, so any bit too much pressure and they just round off straight away. That's tight, so this is going to be loosened. Come on, we've got to just play it a little bit. No, look, it's just completely gone. So all I'm going to do now is just grind that straight off there. Listen, that's solid, it's not going nowhere anyway. I'm happy with that, and then we'll get on to that.
You comfy there?
Yeah. So now for dessert. So now for dessert, what we're going to be doing is putting the air compressor on. But I took the plastic bit off because it was helping me do obviously all the rear control arms and such. So I thought maybe you just put the metal one on rather than having the plastic one, but it seems that you keep the plastic one on, I think, because it protects all your electrics. It's got like an insulated area that protects the electrics. So I'm just going to clip this one back on and I'll show you underneath, see how it all measures up, and we'll see how we get on with this one, because once again this is Terrafirma. Hopefully they've got the right bolts, the right holes, and it's all lines up. We've managed to put the old case back on. I'll pop you here. The old plastic one's back on. Now when you put this back on, if you have took it off like me, make sure all the clips are clipped in properly, because after tightening it back up I realised there's a couple of clips. I'll just show you where. See these little clips there, they run all the way around, and obviously that will create a more airtight sort of protection, maybe if you're in water or whatever, because there's a lot of electrics here. So now that's all back on, let's size up this and see where it's going to go. Now I think for this you might need a rivet gun if your Land Rover is anything like mine, and these areas here on the back of your sills are pretty rusty or non-existent. So if you've got a rivet gun, you can put your knot in there your nut in there and obviously rivet it, so then you can tighten this up. And luckily I do have one from other jobs that we've been doing. So we size this up, that's going to go like that there. It looks like the bolts line up here, which is good. There's a hole here there, but there's no holes. I don't know what that's for. This one lines up, and then you've got a hanger on this side, which comes in the form of this here, and that's going to hang on this like a hole, and that will obviously bolt together just here. So that is the assembly of this. So let's just let's see how we get on. Let's get some nuts and bolts in, and I'll show you in a minute. So as I was saying, you'll need a rivet nut gun, because Terrafirma must have anticipated the fact that us old discos are going to have rusty seals. So they give you these little bits here anyway, and all we've got to do is just pop them into, because I've got rock sliders, so we'll pop it into that, and then that will hold the nut when it comes to tighten it. So we'll crank them in now, just like that. Oh, you bastard. This is not an easy one. Oh god, that's tight, that one is. I think I balls that one up, but luckily I've got some more. That's no good, is it? Jesus, wet. We'll try that again. Luckily I've got some, so it's quite difficult to do it under here, if I'm honest. You can't really. Oh, that's not worked either. Why is that not working? I think I've managed it for the third time. That was quite difficult. I don't know why, but it just wasn't seem to be gripping right. Not too sure if I had this gun set up incorrectly, but it's a good job I have got some, because I couldn't quite get that. Oh, the dilemmas. It just continues, doesn't it, with every step of every type of modification or fixing of a Land Rover. It's enough to put you off buying one, I can assure you that. But we love them. Keeps us busy, doesn't it? Right, hopefully I can get this one in now. The same. Let me. Oh! Is that in? Quite difficult to get from under here, you see. But I think I'm happy with that. I think it's got a good connection. It's not wobbling. I mean, that's a little bit of a lip out in it, but listen, as long as I can get a nut in it, it's tight, I'm happy. So what I think I might do first is try and get this hanger on, then I'll move over to these, and then I've got like a bolt that goes into here that splits when you put it in. This is into the chassis, and I think that's it. So let's go with that. Get a spanner on the top of these, wind them in, wind them in. Let's get this one in. Where's that nut? So that is the jobby done. 2 bolts here, 2 rivet nutted into there, 1 here which opens up into the chassis, and this one here I believe must be for the Disco 4 or something, because I think these are for both. I'm not too sure, but I've got no hole there, so unless that's full of shit and I just can't open it and it's turned into metal, I don't know. But that is solid, it's not going nowhere. So that's the air compressor, transmission guard, sump guard, fully protected for off-roading. Well, that concludes the video. I mean, if you've been on the Instagram or on the socials, you'll know how manic this weekend's been, because getting them control arms out, I've never experienced anything so difficult on a car. It's been, what was it like? It took me a full day to get 2 out and replaced, and then the front control arms weren't too bad, they were alright. But yes, that's been manic. So if you was on the socials, if you're not on the socials, get on there. If you was on there, you know what it's about, how I've been dealing with it. It's been a difficult one. Obviously that is how you put Terrafirma plates on. It isn't as straightforward as it it's supposed to be. Sometimes the nuts don't line up, and you know, you have to do certain things to make it fit, but we got there in the end. My car is now fully protected. It's got the front sump guard on, it's got the transmission plate on, and it's also got the compressor plate on, so we're good to go. Hopefully that will be it for the vehicle for now, because that has been an absolute fortune of a weekend I've had to spend, but that's what you get when you get with Land Rovers. Next videos we will be out doing some possibly green laning. Might even go out tomorrow do some green laning, who knows, or we'll be out having a bit of fun on a pay and play. But for now guys, it's feet up time. It's been a long one, it's been tough, it's been difficult, but it's you know, it's been worth it, I guess. At the end of the day, underneath is protected. Take care guys, catch you on the next one. Love you all.